Speaking test instructions. The speaking test is 20 minutes. There are 8 tasks in the speaking test. Please try your best to answer all the questions.
Start speaking now. Time is up. 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 Start speaking now. Time is up.
Michelle. Discovering that your best friend has been secretly dating your ex-partner represents a profound betrayal of trust that you have every right to feel hurt and angry about. Nevertheless, how you respond to this situation will significantly impact your emotional well-being and future relationships. First and foremost, acknowledge that your feelings of betrayal are completely valid. Close friends typically understand that dating an ex violates an unspoken code of loyalty and respect, particularly when done secretly rather than openly. Furthermore, the secrecy suggests your friend knew this relationship would hurt you and chose to pursue it anyway while hiding the truth, which is arguably worse than the relationship itself. Additionally, you need to honestly assess whether this friendship can truly continue given this fundamental breach of trust and whether you genuinely want to maintain a relationship with someone who prioritized their romantic interest over your feelings. Moreover, consider that staying friends might require you to witness their relationship, hear about their happiness together, and pretend to be supportive when you're actually hurting, which could be emotionally damaging long-term. Although you value this friendship and fear losing it, remember that true friendship requires mutual respect and honesty, qualities your friend has already violated through their deception. Consequently, I'd recommend having a direct, honest conversation where you express how hurt you feel about both the relationship and the secrecy. Then carefully evaluate your friend's response to determine if the friendship is salvageable. Additionally, consider setting clear boundaries about what you're willing to tolerate moving forward, such as not discussing the relationship or requiring complete honesty going forward. Despite your desire to preserve the friendship, protecting your emotional health might ultimately require accepting that this person has demonstrated they're not the friend you thought they were. Sometimes the most self-respecting choice is letting go of relationships that no longer serve your well-being, regardless of their history. 5 years ago, I faced a difficult choice between accepting a management position at my current company that came with substantial salary increase and prestige, or leaving to join a small nonprofit organization doing international development work I was passionate about but with significantly lower compensation. The corporate management role represented career advancement and financial security, with clear trajectory toward executive positions and the ability to comfortably support my family. Furthermore, I had worked hard for years to position myself for this promotion, and declining it would likely close doors to similar opportunities within that organization. However, the nonprofit opportunity aligned perfectly with my values and long-term desire to do meaningful work addressing global poverty and education inequality. Additionally, the international travel and direct impact on communities felt more fulfilling than the corporate responsibilities of budget management and personnel oversight. The decision was agonizing because both options offered significant value but were fundamentally incompatible. I couldn't pursue both simultaneously. To make my decision, I created detailed lists of pros and cons, spoke with mentors in both fields, and tried to envision myself in each role 5 years later. Moreover, I considered my family's needs and discussed thoroughly with my spouse about the financial implications of each choice. Ultimately, I accepted the management position, reasoning that financial stability and career advancement should take priority during this life stage when we were planning to start a family and had significant financial obligations. The role provided excellent experience and allowed me to build skills that have served my career well. However, I do carry some regret about not pursuing the nonprofit opportunity, particularly during periods when corporate work feels meaningless or when I see news about the issues I'm passionate about. This experience taught me that major decisions often involve legitimate trade-offs rather than clear right answers, and that some regret is natural even when you make reasonable choices based on available information. This enchanting illustration depicts a small-town winter festival taking place in the main square during a snowy December evening, where community members have gathered to celebrate the holiday season with various traditional activities and entertainment. The town square is beautifully decorated with twinkling string lights draped between lampposts, and a magnificent evergreen tree adorned with colorful ornaments serves as the centerpiece. In the foreground, children bundled in puffy winter coats and knitted scarves are ice skating on a temporary outdoor rink that has been set up for the occasion, some holding hands for balance while others glide confidently across the glistening surface. Meanwhile, parents stand along the rink's edge, cheering encouragingly and capturing photos with their smartphones while sipping steaming beverages. On the left side of the scene, a row of wooden chalets houses various vendors selling seasonal treats including roasted chestnuts, hot chocolate topped with marshmallows, and freshly baked gingerbread cookies that fill the air with aromatic spices. Additionally, a choir dressed in matching red and white attire is performing classic carols on a small raised platform, their breath visible in the cold air as they sing. The background reveals the town's historic buildings with snow-covered roofs and warm light glowing from their windows, while a horse-drawn sleigh decorated with evergreen boughs and jingling bells carries delighted passengers around the perimeter of the square. Furthermore, an artisan market features local craftspeople displaying handmade ornaments, knitted goods, and wooden toys at festively decorated booths. What makes this seasonal gathering particularly magical is how it brings together an entire community in celebration, creating cherished traditions and fostering a sense of belonging through shared cultural experiences during the coldest months of the year. Initially, the children ice skating will continue gliding gracefully across the frozen rink while holding hands for support, whereas the choir dressed in festive attire will likely begin performing traditional Christmas carols. Subsequently, more families will gather around the ice rink to watch the joyful skaters and enjoy the enchanting winter atmosphere, while simultaneously, vendors at the Christmas market stalls will serve hot chocolate and seasonal treats to cold visitors. Meanwhile, the horse-drawn sleigh will presumably complete its circuit around the town square before offering rides to waiting families, and consequently, children will eagerly line up for this magical experience. Furthermore, as evening deepens, the magnificent Christmas tree's lights will appear even more brilliant against the darkening sky, while snowflakes continue falling gently on the picturesque scene. Despite the cold winter temperatures, the festive atmosphere keeps everyone's spirits warm. Nevertheless, some spectators will seek warmth inside the market chalets between outdoor activities. In addition, parents watching from the sidelines will capture precious photographs of their children's skating adventures. In conclusion, this idyllic Christmas market celebration will continue throughout the evening, creating unforgettable holiday memories while bringing the entire community together in a spirit of joy, tradition, and seasonal celebration. Gregory, I understand your preference for implementing an allowance and money education approach, but I believe family counseling sessions represent the most comprehensive and effective response to Lily's stealing behavior. First and foremost, children who repeatedly steal from parents despite being caught multiple times are typically expressing deeper emotional or psychological distress rather than simply wanting money or lacking financial understanding. Furthermore, professional therapists have specialized training in child psychology and can identify underlying Issues such as anxiety, attention-seeking behavior, responses to family stress, or other emotional needs that we might not recognize as parents. Additionally, Lily's stealing has persisted despite our previous conversations and consequences, which suggests that simple behavioral interventions or financial education won't address whatever is actually driving this behavior. Moreover, family counseling involves all of us examining our family dynamics, communication patterns, and potential stressors that might be contributing to Lily's actions. Providing comprehensive intervention rather than just focusing on symptoms. Although therapy is expensive, consider the potential long-term consequences if we fail to address whatever is troubling Lily now. Behavioral problems often escalate during adolescence if underlying issues remain unaddressed. Consequently, investing in professional help now could prevent much more serious problems later, including continued theft, damaged family relationships, or other acting out behaviors. Despite the strict consequences approach seeming more decisive, punishment alone rarely solves behavior problems rooted in emotional distress and might actually increase Lily's feelings of shame or isolation. The allowance approach, while educational, essentially assumes the problem is lack of money or financial knowledge when repeated stealing typically indicates something more complex. Don't you think we should address the root psychological causes of Lily's behavior rather than just treating the surface symptoms? Gregory, while I appreciate your concern about underlying psychological issues, I strongly believe that strict consequences and monitoring represent the most appropriate and effective response to Lily's stealing behavior. First and foremost, Lily is 10 years old and fully understands that stealing is wrong. Yet she has continued this behavior multiple times, which indicates she needs clear boundaries and accountability rather than therapeutic intervention. That might send the message that bad behavior is excusable if there are underlying reasons. Furthermore, immediately jumping to family counseling for a behavioral problem that might simply reflect poor impulse control or testing boundaries could actually create unnecessary anxiety and make Lily feel there's something seriously wrong with her or our family. Additionally, direct consequences teach Lily that her actions have immediate real-world repercussions, which is an essential life lesson that will serve her in school, future employment, and all relationships throughout her life. Moreover, implementing strict monitoring of her access to money, loss of privileges, and requirement to earn back trust through consistent good behavior provides clear structure and expectations that children Lily's age typically need and respond to effectively. Although family counseling might eventually be valuable if behavior problems persist, starting with firm consequences and clear expectations is the appropriate first response that most parents would take before involving professional therapists. Consequently, we should implement immediate accountability measures including loss of screen time, extra chores to repay stolen money, and careful monitoring of her behavior to see if consistent consequences resolve the problem. Despite the allowance approach having educational merit, it doesn't adequately address the fact that Lily violated trust and broke rules repeatedly, which requires direct accountability. The counseling option, while thorough, might be excessive for a behavior problem that could simply reflect normal childhood testing of boundaries. Don't you think Lily needs to learn that stealing has serious consequences rather than getting therapeutic intervention that might minimize her personal responsibility? Emily, I need to talk with you about your decision to drop out of college and move across the country with Derek. And I'm asking you to really listen to what I have to say because I care deeply about your future. First and foremost, I want you to know that I'm not trying to control your life or dismiss your feelings for Derek. I understand you're an adult who ultimately makes your own decisions. Nevertheless, as someone who loves you and has more life experience with relationships and major decisions, I'm genuinely concerned that you're making a choice you'll deeply regret. Furthermore, you're in your junior year, meaning you've already invested 2 years and significant money into your education. And dropping out now means leaving without a degree despite completing 2/3 of the requirements. Additionally, the job market strongly favors college graduates, and leaving school will significantly limit your career options and earning potential throughout your entire life, affecting not just immediate circumstances but decades of opportunities. Moreover, you've known Derek for only 6 months, which is not enough time to truly know someone or predict whether this relationship will last long term. Yet you're willing to sacrifice your education and uproot your entire life for this still new relationship. Although you believe this is true love, consider that healthy relationships should encourage both partners' growth and education rather than requiring one person to abandon important goals. Consequently, if Derek truly loves you and wants what's best for you, he should be willing to wait until you complete your degree or find ways to maintain the relationship while you finish school. Additionally, if you move across the country and the relationship ends, you'll find yourself far from family support, without a degree, and having to start over in an unfamiliar place. Would you at least consider compromising by finishing this academic year before making any final decisions? Mom and Dad, I need to talk with you about Emily's decision to leave college. And I know this is incredibly painful and frightening for you. First and foremost, I want you to know that I share your concerns about Emily's choice and the potential consequences she might face. Nevertheless, I believe we need to accept that Emily is 20 years old and legally an adult who has the right to make her own decisions, even when those decisions seem unwise to us. Furthermore, the more we pressure Emily to stay in school or criticize Derek and her plans, the more likely we are to push her away and damage our relationship with her at a time when she'll actually need family support. Additionally, Emily is at a life stage where establishing independence and making autonomous choices is developmentally appropriate, even when those choices involve risk or potential mistakes. Moreover, if we react with anger, ultimatums, or withdrawal of support, we effectively push Emily toward relying entirely on Derek and his influence, removing our ability to remain part of her life and provide guidance if things go wrong. Although Emily's decision seems impulsive and potentially harmful, consider that many young adults make questionable choices and learn valuable lessons through those experiences without permanent damage to their futures. Consequently, I believe our best approach is maintaining connection with Emily, expressing our concerns honestly but respectfully, and making sure she knows we love her unconditionally regardless of her choices. Additionally, if we keep communication open and supportive, Emily will be more likely to return to school later or reach out to us if the relationship becomes problematic. Despite how difficult this is, trying to control Emily's decision will likely backfire and create family estrangement that makes her situation worse. Our job now is being a supportive safety net rather than barriers she needs to overcome to live her own life. Don't you think maintaining our relationship with Emily is more important than being right about this decision? Parents should generally not be held legally responsible when their children commit crimes, as this policy would be unjust and ineffective for addressing youth crime. First and foremost, children and teenagers are independent individuals with their own decision-making capacity, and holding parents criminally liable for their children's actions violates basic principles of personal responsibility and accountability that form the foundation of criminal justice. Furthermore, Many factors beyond parental control influence youth behavior, including peer pressure, mental health issues, school environments, and broader social circumstances that parents cannot completely manage regardless of their efforts. Additionally, criminally prosecuting parents could actually harm children by destabilizing families financially and emotionally, potentially removing parents from the home through incarceration precisely when children need support and guidance most. Moreover, parental liability laws disproportionately affect low-income families who may lack resources for intensive supervision, mental health treatment, or other interventions, essentially criminalizing poverty rather than addressing underlying causes of youth crime. Nevertheless, I recognize that parents do have responsibilities for supervising minors and providing appropriate guidance, and there may be extreme cases where parental neglect or active facilitation of criminal behavior warrants legal consequences. Consequently, rather than broad parental liability for children's crimes, the law might appropriately hold parents accountable in specific circumstances, such as knowingly providing weapons to dangerous children or egregiously failing to seek help for children with obvious violent tendencies. Additionally, civil liability for damages caused by children's actions might be more appropriate than criminal prosecution, as it provides compensation for victims without the harsh consequences of criminalizing parents. Therefore, while parents certainly bear moral and practical responsibility for raising children with good values and appropriate supervision, extending criminal liability to parents for their children's independent criminal choices creates more problems than it solves and undermines both justice principles and family stability. Maria, you absolutely must visit Kitchen Dreams on Elm Street before this weekend. While shopping for kitchen gadgets with my mom, I discovered the most extraordinary teapot that immediately made me think of your amazing tea collection. This piece is designed to look like a miniature hot air balloon, complete with a woven basket base that holds the tea, and an actual balloon-shaped top in vibrant colors of red, yellow, and blue stripes. What makes this absolutely remarkable is how the handle is crafted to look like rope netting that connects the basket to the balloon, and the spout extends from the basket portion with intricate brass detailing. Furthermore, when you pour hot water into it, steam rises from a small vent at the top of the balloon, creating the illusion that the hot air balloon is actually preparing for flight. Not only is it made from premium porcelain with gold leaf accents along the edges, but it also comes with matching teacups designed to look like miniature sandbags. The craftsmanship is absolutely museum quality, with hand-painted details and what appears to be genuine leather straps wrapped around the basket portion. Unfortunately, the store has a strict no photography policy for their exclusive designer collection to prevent counterfeiting. Given your passion for unique teapots and how you always serve tea at your garden parties, this hot air balloon teapot would definitely become the centerpiece of your collection and a fantastic conversation starter. The store associate mentioned it's part of a limited edition series with only 50 pieces worldwide. So if you're interested, you should really see it soon.